Bad breath can be very embarrassing and it can cause a lot of heartache in relationships. But there's a secret to that. We can all work on our oral health. So, this is hydrogen peroxide. It's a very important ingredient for oral health. Now, last week, we made a lot of stories of people saying a very famous couple actually had their moment in their podcast and they called it a prank where the man insisted that the lady's mouth stinks. So I've always thought this, like oral health is something that people don't know, and I feel like nobody walks around wanting to have like bad oral health or a bad smell. It's just that they need assistance and we can help them. So the assistant that will really help them is this. This is hydrogen peroxide. So the good thing about hydrogen peroxide is that it is used to like a disinfectant and also a mouthwash that is very safe to use. So how do you go about using it? You dilute like 2 spoonfuls of it. What I usually do, like I use 1 cup to half a cup of water, or if you're going to use the 2 spoonfuls, you can put two of them to a whole glass of water. And then you use it after brushing your teeth. So after you've brushed your teeth, you go ahead to gargle it for 30 seconds to a minute. And it's very important for it because sometimes nobody walks around wanting to have like bad oral health, but you can help them. And I feel like if you're close to someone, you're the best person to help them rather than they go out there, then they find people to tell them, oh, your smell, your breath stinks, and it's very bad to their self-esteem. Especially teenagers, just help them to just get their self-esteem right, to be able to gargle and to be able to do so that you use the cup full of it. You can use it as a measure into half a cup of water, and then now you start to work with it. But it's very important because once you do that, they'll be able. It kills infection, and also it's an important thing to have like in a household because apart from that it also like arrests bleeding, like stops bleeding immediately. Like for example, you are cutting vegetables and then you cut yourself and now you are bleeding, you just sprinkle some hydrogen peroxide and the bleeding stops. And that is very useful to have in a house because you don't want to have like kitchen emergencies and you don't have anything for their first aid. So for the famous couple that did it, this is a time for us to like also just go and realize that maybe we can sort out the bad breath by other things because brushing is important. And also we'll talk about the charcoal toothbrushing, the type of toothbrush to use for better oral health. But everybody deserves to just know how to like get their oral health well because as human beings we eat a lot. It's important to brush twice daily, in the morning after your breakfast and even in the evening before you sleep. The last thing you do is not to brush your teeth. Yeah, and also just to floss regularly because flossing is important because it removes the dirty particles in between the mouth. So yeah, I'll also maybe we'll do a video on flossing and also how the best toothpaste to use for better oral health. And it always works out like that. So we can always work together to just improve each other's health. If you try normal methods and it doesn't work, it is always best to see the dentist. You're normally advised to see a dentist twice a year, after every 6 months. But in a country where our healthcare is not the best, we don't have system in place, it can be quite difficult. So always just see a dentist. If you feel some swell, if you have like a decay or you have like the tooth cavities, like I think I have a decay, I'm going to see a dentist about it. So I'm going to get the decays taken care of and just talk about it. But oral health is very important and you can use the hydrogen peroxide to really help you gargle and also just like brushing your tongue. Also, brushing your tongue is important because it helps to remove the dirt. So you can always use a tongue scraper and just brush your teeth and brush everything to just make sure that your oral health is really nice. Simple things like those, just to gargle and then also use a tongue scraper to remove the particles that remain in the teeth, to floss regularly, and you'll be good to go. So I've just gargled it, and after gargling, now you can just spit it off after a minute, and then now you just go to maybe rinse it with water because if you get the taste is bad, you can just rinse it off.